Creepypasta reading. What is that? My wife was terminal and a few months ago she died. I was very sad at the loss, and she was marvelous, caring, knowing. She was kind, and everyone that met her said their lives were better for it. I couldn't bear the pain though, so I did something terrible. I will not tell you how I did it, or how I learned to, for enough damage has been done. But I found a way to bring her back, to raise her from the dead. I could no longer bear to be alone, and I made a terrible mistake in loneliness. When I finished the ritual, nothing happened. Not at first, anyway. I was about to rebury her when I first started to hear breathing. With an understandable measure of joy, I realized that sound was emanating from her mouth. I had done it. At the time, I could not fully understand what it was, but my peaceful and grown-ups, I carried her home. She was not the same. She was no longer caring, but primal, instinctive beast. She howled and screamed, snarled at me whenever I passed. I was worried, not for her own sake, but hers. She could escape. She could go out and do something to get hurt. Let the record show you that it was for her own good that I locked her in my basement. I never meant to keep her that way. I never knew that my actions would set a chain reaction on unforgettable horrors into action. I kept her there for as long as I could, but her screams grew more and more desperate. I was chilled to my very core, but my screams of my bed hurt, and before long I stood in the rain-slick precipice of insanity. I needed to do something, as it so happened. I was not the only one to hear the screams. My neighbors began to show interest, eventually sneaking onto my estate and snoop around. I got them in the act, and I had no explanation for what they may have seen. I attacked them. I didn't kill them, but were unbelievably leave their own accord, and as I feared the consequences of letting them go, I locked them in my basement with my wife. This was my second mistake. The first, of course, being that I raised her in the first place. That night I knew the sound of crunching bone. Upon my awake in the morning, I went down to check on the neighbors. One was gone. The other was wide-eyed, cowering in the corner, covered in blood. Something else was off, too. Thought at first I did not know what. Then it hit me. The screams had subsided. My wife was asleep. She had fed and no slumbered all this time. The screams were of hunger. I shut the door and went to lie down. She lasted a few more days, obviously feasting on the other neighbor. It seemed that she only needed to eat once every few days. Now I'm not proud of what I did next, but I didn't know what else to do. I went out at night every few days, around the time that only a few people would still be around. I stalked the streets and attacked people who walked alone. I wouldn't take them back to my wife and leave them in the basement. I would often wake for my slumber to hear their screams, cries for help. This would always arouse the beast, and I would never last longer than a minute or so. 10 minutes of crunching and gurgling Please, later the deed would be done, and I could rest easy for another few days. Although I didn't kill anyone, I may as well have. It was my actions that brought about the deaths of so many, and my actions that robbed so many of the loved ones of closure. How many torn and blooded rags did I have to burn? How many personal effects were destroyed by my hands? I lost track of numbers, but surely even is too high a number. I was kept awake its screams, and I shall not venture to be referred as it, for I have come to the conclusion that this monster is not my beloved, so I fed it. A night rest for the lives of so many. Day by day I grew stronger in strength, either increasing or returning, for I know not what horrible beast is now in possession of my wife's body. And as the time went on, I was forced to bring her home more food, bigger people, men, 2 women, and a woman and a man. Eventually, he was eating a full-grown man every day. I knew in some dark corner of my mind, I knew that this could not go on forever. I could not keep taking people. I was in danger of being caught, and I thought I deserved to be. Fear took hold of me, and that, I suppose, is why I let the charade go on for so long as I did. So I decided to flee. I had just packed my bags when I heard a knock on my door. The police had found a trail of blood leading through the woods of my estate, and were inquiring as whatever I had seen or heard anything suspicious. I managed to keep cool head and talk. My way out of the could have potentially been a very unpleasant situation. I know not why, only that I deserved it. It began to scream louder than I ever heard it scream before, and it sounded mad. The police instantly drew their guns and went in, thinking perhaps some horrific story ever so slowly descends the stairs. I was at a loss for what to do. I did the only thing I could, take out the heat on the moment. I shut the door, throwing a bolt across, and I ran to my quarters and grabbed my bags, making for the door. The scream of the police haunts me to this very day. I heard the sound of splintering wood as that thing burst out of itself. It was now loose in the house. I ran as fast my legs could carry me out of there, until in the streets of the town I had